What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'll be your host and producer for this show, and I guess you could say moderator, the neutral party of this Dallas Cowboys weekly report. Of course, I am in between two Cowboys fans right now. First one being, of course, Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner. Vincent, how you doing, my friend?
God bless.
Yes, sir. Yes. and my brother from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, the man who said pre-show he's going to keep it real, Jay McLovin. Jay, how you doing, buddy?
You know, it used to be with the Cowboys, I loved them, and then I go to periods where I hate them, and now, Logan, I'm just impartial.
Yeah.
Indifferent. I think the word is actually indifferent. Lack of feeling. You know it's bad when you get to a point of lack of feeling. It was to the point where typical Cowboys fans, when the games and things like that we've seen up to now, would typically rip the TV off the wall and throw it out the window or something. I'm not going to do that. Number one, I love my TV. And number two, that's just crazy. And number three, I like to think I'm a little bit different version of a Cowboys fan, honestly. Now, Vince over there, he might actually maybe do something like that, but he's a little longer in the tooth than I am. So he might have become different like me, and he's not going to destroy his stuff. But, I mean, let's be honest, the delusional Cowboys fan base, they will do that now.
If you guys enjoy this Cowboys Weekly Report, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe, don't you? Please check us out, Facebook and YouTube, main two platforms over there. Also, go download a podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. We're available each and every single week. Tons of great shows. We've had interviews with Brian Jordan earlier today, former baseball and football player. We've done tremendous draft prospect videos looking at some of the future 2025 quarterback class. We've got game previews for college and NFL games. We've got a ton of great stuff. Of course, we just did a Falcons report. And here we are with these Dallas Cowboys talking about their weekly report. And let's talk about the week that was, Jay. And, of course, Cowboys lost by 3 points, 28-25 final score against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. What were your thoughts on that game? You came up great in the fourth quarter, scored 19 points, but it was too little too late for Cowboys who fall to 1-2 on the year. What were your thoughts on that matchup with Baltimore, rather?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Logan. Up until about the beginning of the fourth quarter, prototypical Cowboys, we're going to lose, we're going to go out there in prime time, this, that, and the other. And then when before the fourth quarter started, they had Tom Brady talking about the infamous 28-3. Logan, I hate to bring that up because I know you're probably still in hurt and denial over that.
Yeah.
But they brought up the 28-3 drubbing, and then they came back, obviously, to win the Super Bowl, and they were trying to make comparisons. Well, the Cowboys could do this, Cowboys could do that. I'm like, yeah, right, Tom. Okay, whatever. And sure enough, it almost came to fruition.
It almost did.
But then, Logan, I thought to myself, the Cowboys are just, and Vince, I'm going to keep it clean. The Cowboys are just effing with me. They're effing with me, Logan, and they're effing with every single Cowboys fan that's out there. Because the way that they played that fourth quarter tells me that this team is actually pretty damn good, but they don't want nobody to know about it, I guess, for whatever reason. Because let me tell you something, they played every single game like they played that fourth quarter. We wouldn't be talking about this. It'd probably be a whole completely different scenario. So I think now I'm starting to think, well, maybe they're screwing with me and they're screwing with the fan base. In all honesty, because it wasn't like they did that against a crappy team. The Ravens' defense is actually somewhat pretty good. But yet, for some reason, and I'll give you a lot of reasons, but the one reason I've noticed now, what I understood now was, for some reason, the Cowboys just don't have a dog-like mentality in the players, in the coaching staff, in the ownership. Even the water boy walks around with a less than lackluster dog-like mentality. He just gently squirts it, rather than giving them a full squirt like a dog would do. We do not have Mamba mentality in Dallas. Now, they had it. They had it in the fourth quarter. Where the hell was it all that before then? Can somebody tell me that? Where the hell was a fight in them like we saw in the fourth quarter? Because now I know they can do it. Now I know it's possible. Now they let the cat out of the bag. What a time to be alive, man. My third point is they cannot stop the freaking run. My mother could run them over. That's how bad it is, Logan. And I'm pretty sure we all saw several, if not multiple instances of that happen. Let me just educate you a little bit on what I'm talking about. They couldn't stop the run up the middle. They couldn't stop the run on the right or the left. Henry was at 20 carries for 110 yards, averaging 5.5 with 1 hour and 1 minute. And I think it was like a minute left or an hour. Yeah, about a minute left, minute 5 left in the second quarter. The dude's already at 110 yards. Ravens rushed for a total of 45 times for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 6.1 yards a carry. Henry bull rushed the entire offensive line at the 1 yard line. I know you saw it. Plowed through them like they weren't even there. We're talking about multiple guys like they weren't even. And it's not. Let's be honest. Henry's not exactly the youngest whippersnapper in the team. He's the oldest guy out there, younger, pushing around younger guys. Maybe Smith, where are you at? You're the first round draft pick. Why are you rolling over like a little? No, I'm not going to go there because I'm going to keep it clean. But again, Logan, multiple times we're just getting run over like we just don't care. And it really pisses me off. Again, where's a pass rush? What is that? They let Jackson roam around, do whatever he wanted to do. Let Henry roam around, do whatever he wanted. You know, they attempted one pass, Logan. One pass in the third quarter. One. They were the most one-dimensional team I've ever seen. But for some reason, we still can't stop them. Can somebody explain that? Because we should be all over it like white on rice paper. Where's the coverage on the left side? Can somebody explain that to me? Rashad Bateman was wide open for that touchdown. I know you saw it. Wilson missed assignment. Overshawn went left when the guy went right and looked dumbfounded when the guy caught the touchdown pass like he didn't know what to do. Lack of preparation, lack of player execution, lack of dog-like mentality is what we are right now. We're cream puffs. I can't say that word. We're trying to keep it clean. My filter's working exceptionally well today, Logan. I want you to know that. You looked at where's the over top help? Multiple times I saw Overshawn get beat. I saw Wilson get beat. Every safety got beat. Where's the top side help? I want to know that. Carson, did you see when Aguilar caught the ball way downfield and Carson couldn't even tackle him and the dude went in? I mean, I think he ultimately went out of bounds. But where was he at on that play? They're not giving Dak a lot of time or space. Matter of fact, to that point, I know you saw it when he got tackled in the end zone, but for the luck and grace of God, he futtered the ball off and hit the offensive lineman. Really should have been a safety. The Cowboys got lucky on that one. It really was a safety, but I guess they decided to have a little pity on the Cowboys at that point. Guyton got called for a holding penalty a couple of times. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for Aubrey keeping us in the game, I mean, Aubrey's probably the best offensive weapon. He probably got the most dog-like mentality of the whole damn group. I think he had, a 65-yard field goal? Come on, man. We cannot rely on our kicker as our best offensive weapon. Lamb was doubled up all night. I'm pretty sure you saw it. He dropped 2 passes. He goes on on ESPN, says, "I'm sorry, guys. I failed you. I should have done better." No, you didn't. You dropped a couple of passes. That's a little humanistic. Everybody else, though, yeah, you should be the ones on ESPN saying you failed Lamb. You failed the Cowboy fans. Those are Mike McCarthy should come out with a public apology saying, "I'm sorry to have my team ready to play this game." Mike Zimmer should be out there saying, "I'm sorry to have everybody ready to play this game." Those are the ones that you should be seeing are doing the apologies, not CeeDee Lamb. And I'm going to say, CeeDee, I like the accountability, though, bro. That's the first step of positivity I've seen in this Cowboys. The fact that you took accountability. I appreciate that. I wish the rest of the team would do it. I wish Jerry Jones would come out and hold himself accountable for the bullshit product for the last 3 decades that we as Cowboys fans have had to endure. So if I had to entitle this message on this show today, it's going to be called accountability or lack thereof. Last thing I want to say is this, man. If you know Lamb is doubled up, Turpin, Tolbert, Cooks, why aren't you getting these guys more involved? How many times have we thrown the ball to Cooks? And he's like our number 2 wideout, and he barely touches the ball. Now our number 2 guy is Ferguson, who just came off the injured list and made everybody else on the team look bad because he was playing actually that well. What a time to be alive, man. I turn it over to my boy Vince, or back to Logan.
And Vince, I think the main takeaway I got from this game is the running game. That was the key factor for both sides of the ball. For Baltimore, King Henry looked like he did back in his prime, running everyone over, long runs. Jay gave off the stats: 25 carries, 151, 2 touchdowns, and a 6-yard per rush average, which hats off to him. Great job. Can the Cowboys get something going, Vincent, with this running game? Because it just has been non-existent the whole season.
I'm going to say this about the Dallas Cowboys. Last game, Jay brought up some excellent points. I know the frustration of him being a Cowboys fan, such as myself. Number one, I'm going to start with the offense. The offense is starting off to get off the slow starts in all the games they played this season. Logan, you brought up a good point. They have not been able to run the football. So a lot of pressure has been thrown on the Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. So there's a lot of pressure now completing passes and moving the ball through the air. But you got to look at this. They're starting 2 new offensive linemen. Guyton is a rookie. Cooper Beebe is a rookie. And then probably the biggest decision, and a decision that I look at, is that you didn't draft a running back. That, to me, didn't make much sense. You bring back Ezekiel Elliott, who obviously has lost his skill set. Then you try to run Deuce Vaughn. So basically, you don't have anybody that's capable of being a game changer in the running game. That's why I said you better watch when you let Tony Pollard walk, then you might pay for that. But overall, I think Dallas has just gotten off to a slow start offense, and I think they'll improve. I'm going to leave this with it today. Each season I come in and I say, well, what is the most important position that Dallas has to get to where they can be a legitimate team to get to the Super Bowl? Not a playoff team, Super Bowl. Well, you go back February the 25th, 1989. That's when Jerry Jones purchased the team and he hired Jimmy Johnson as the coach. From 89 to 93, they selected 15 starters from that draft. But the thing I keep telling the Cowboy faithful, years after years, I've even said it on 100 Yards Football, when is Dallas is going to build their defensive line when they draft a defensive tackle? From those Super Bowl teams, and let's go back, was it been 96, 28 years, right? 24, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Jones, Jim Jeffcoat, Russell Maryland, Charles Haley, Leon Lett, Chad Hennings, Tony Tolbert, and Tony Casillas. That was the Cowboys D-line, which was one of the strengths of their team. Until Dallas really fixes that problem, it's been what? Let me see, 96, that's, I'm trying to get it corrected, 20-something years, the Cowboys, we're going to be frustrated with them defensively because in this league, you got to stop the run. You can't do 4 games, give up 557 yards rushing. You can't give up 103 yards rushing a game. You're not going to win football games. So tomorrow night against the New York Giants, if they don't fix that leak in the D-line, it's going to be the same thing. The Giants are going to be able to run the football. And you brought up Jay Macy Smith. I thought that was a bad selection. I never really was sold on him with just University of Michigan. But what we've been doing with Jerry Jones over the last few years, since we won the Super Bowl in 96, we call reaching for the stars. And I leave you with that here on 100 Yards.
No, I got just one more thing to add.
You got, Jay?
Since we're talking defensive line, there's one thing I meant to put in my notes and I didn't put in my notes, but we all know it's inevitable. Can somebody tell me how a man like D-Law could get that nice, beautiful, big payday, because it was over 100 mil, and then come out and lay goose egg after goose egg after goose egg after goose egg after goose egg, and nobody holds him accountable? Again, that's another man. Before he got the contract, he was a dog. But once he got fed, he became a puppy. I'm just calling it like it is, and you know it's true. We got Girl Scouts on our defensive line. Am I wrong? Can somebody tell? And I hope I'm pissing the defensive line off because God knows you need to be pissed off because you're playing like a bunch of wussies and take out the W and put in another letter.
Jay, let's turn our attentions to tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. Taking on the New York Giants, who are coming into this matchup 1-2 on the season. What do you think Dallas needs to do in order to defeat New York, who's coming off their first win of the year, that being a 21-15 victory over Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns? What can Dallas do in order to gain a win in this ball game?
That was for me, Logan, or was it Vince?
Yeah, that's for you.
Okay, I was just sure. I didn't want to talk. Yeah, so that's a 7:15 primetime game on Prime Video. If that's not a recipe, that just has me thinking disaster already, because we don't play well in prime time. Let me just throw a couple of things at you real quick, if I may. Both teams are 1-2. Both teams are 1-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the leaders, we look at Prescott, who's 74 of 120 or 74 of 122 for 851, 4 touchdowns and two picks. Interestingly enough, Daniel Jones, is 62 of 104 for 600, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But yet we give all the crap to Daniel Jones, but we're not giving nearly enough to Dak because they got damn near the same numbers. For all those people out there crucifying Daniel Jones and asking for Drew Lock, Cowboys should be asking for Cooper Rush. I'm just saying, it's amazing to me that both quarterbacks, who one who's middle of the road gets a lot of crap, the other one doesn't, or gets more of it than the other. It just amazes me. When you look at the run game, Dowdle is actually our leading rusher at 23 carries at 88. It's not even Zeke. You look at Lamb, he's 13 for 218 and a touchdown. He's our only true bright spot on the whole damn offensive line besides the fact of Ferguson. I think Ferguson is playing amazing for what he's been at. You look at New York. I just gave you Jones's numbers, and you got Singletary at 42 at 197 and 2 touchdowns, which means they have the better run game right now, which means they possibly have even the better offensive line. And then you got Neighbors at 23 and 271 and 3 touchdowns, which means he's outperforming Lamb. So in theory, all of our leaders on Dallas are being outperformed by the leaders of the New York Giants, the freaking Giants. If that doesn't piss you off as a Cowboys fan or as a Cowboys player or coaching staff or anybody who thinks that star still means something to wear on the side of the helmet, this is a game that you should come out and absolutely freaking dominate and start setting a precedent for what you wear on the side of your helmet. What a time to be alive. I'm going to tell you right now, Dallas is at -6 on the betting line. The Giants are at +210. But in all reality, I would not be surprised one single bit if the New York Giants beat us and we go to 1-3 and find ourselves at the bottom of the heap. What a time to be alive. That's exactly the way I'm calling it. I'm calling it. It's probably going to be a New York Giants win.
All right. Vincent, your quick thoughts on this Giants and Cowboys game, and you can get Vincent's full thoughts on these games with our NFL preview show we did with Harper Bell a little bit early. But Vincent, just a little bit of preview. What you like about this game with New York?
Quick observation. If Dallas doesn't stop the run tomorrow night, they have a good chance of losing this football game. But the biggest thing that I'm going to look forward to the game is Malik Neighbors. It must be something in the water in LSU because we need to call them wide receiver U in the NFL. I didn't know the gentleman has 23 receptions on the year for 271 yards. I believe he has 2 touchdowns, if I'm not correct.
3. Yeah, he's got 3.
3. Okay. Going up against Trayvon Diggs, that's a matchup that's going to be very interesting to me. And Daniel Jones, you all right, Jay? He's played good football over the last 2 weeks. The bottom line, Dallas stopped the run tomorrow night. They win the football game. If they're not, the Giants are going to come away with an upset. Playing this, go Cowboy Nation.
My thoughts on this matchup, looking at Dallas, great for passing. Number 1 ranked in passing, guys. But the running game, 3rd worst in the league. Got to figure something out there. Also, bottom 5 defense in terms of yards per game. Got to get the secondaries and safeties locked in. Also dead last in terms of rushing defense, 185.7 yards per game. Got to get that figured out against Devin Singletary. And also bottom 3 in points per game just for defense. Just like you said, Vincent, off to a slow start. this is where, if you're going to turn the corner, this is the team you do it against. Now, for New York, as I mentioned, got their first win last week against the Cleveland Browns. They're averaging only 15 points per game. It's not like their offense is flying high right now in terms of points per games and whatnot. Their defensive line is actually doing really well. They have 14 sacks on the year. That's ranked second in the league right now, tied with a bunch of other teams, but still very surprising for that New York defense. Malik Neighbors, as we said, had a really good coming out party last week. 8 grabs, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that game alone. But thing about New York, they were shut out in the second half against Cleveland. They scored all 15 points in the first 2 quarters. That other half, they went ice cold. So looking at this ball game, if Dallas wants to win this, you have to get your defense locked in. You've got to get some running scheme or whatnot figured out. And if you're New York, you just got to keep going, and we'll see what they can do. Like I said, they've got a solid team. This could be a lot tighter than a lot of people expect, but I think it's going to be a good game overall. And Jay, you have one final point. What would you like to make real quick, sir?
Yeah, it's either a point or just a request of Jerry Jones.
Okay, go ahead. What's your request?
Jerry, at the end of this season, or even if you'd like to do even sooner, you can do it at the middle. Hell, you can do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am calling from Cowboy Nation. I am calling from Mike McCarthy, Zimmer, and I forget, was it Brian Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan, whoever it is over on the offensive side that doesn't really do anything. Can we get all 3 of those guys fired? And I already got the solution for you, Jerry. I already got it. Go get Bill a check. All right? That'll be your head coach. And then go get Josh McDaniels, because when those 2 team up together, they are a formidable team. And that's what we need. We need those 2 guys. And I don't care who you go get anybody. Go get Brian Flores. I don't know if he's not going to leave, but go get us a better defensive coordinator than that. That's the only one that I think maybe I don't have the solution for. But I know McDaniels is available. Belichick's available. They both want to come back in 25. Damn it, Jerry, make it happen. Bring back some damn winning nature to where we are, baby. Make that star mean something again.
I'll leave it at that. Make that star mean something, Cowboy Nation. For Jay McLovin, for Vincent Turner, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, do you have any thoughts on the Cowboys and their upcoming game against the New York Giants coming up on Thursday Night Football? It's going to be on Prime Video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Facebook and YouTube. Also go and download our podcast. One more time for Jay McLovin and for Vincent Turner. Thank y'all for coming on and venting your frustrations and also just letting your thoughts loose about the team y'all love the most, that being the Dallas Cowboys. I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers. Guys, enjoy your weekends. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you again on another